This, this chapter is called Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Kshetra means field. In Kannada we say Tirtha Kshetra, Punya Kshetra. In Hindi it becomes Khet. Kshetra means area of field, area of field, that's area of land where the farmer sows the seeds and reaps the harvest. This body mind personality is called Kshetra in the 13th chapter. For a interesting reason. One reason is because like everything else in this universe it perishes. Kshara. So it's called Kshetra. But the real interesting reason why the body mind is called Kshetra is what the farmer does in the field, in his Kshetra, in his field, we do in the body. The same thing happens in the body and the mind. The farmer sows the seed in the field. And after some time, for some crops this crop comes very quickly, for some it takes long. In the same place where he sows the seeds, he reaps the harvest. What he harvests depends on what he has sown. If he sows rice, he reaps paddy. If he sows wheat and corn, he reaps wheat and corn. Whatever seed he sows, accordingly, that crop he gets after some time in the same place, in his own field. Same thing happens in our body and the mind. All the actions that we do by one or more of the three instruments, you have three instruments of action, Trikarana. Manas, Vak, Kaya. Mind, speech and body. Only three instruments are there. Everything has to happen through one or more of those three instruments. All actions we do. So we constantly are putting seeds. By thinking something good or bad, by saying something necessary or unnecessary, relevant or irrelevant, true or not, and by doing various kinds of actions, some good, some bad, some in between, some mixed. So all these actions that we do, where do the actions happen? They all only happen only in the body and the mind. There is no other place where actions happen. All actions happen in the body and the mind only. Nowhere else. All the fruits of actions, karma phala, also is experienced in the body and the mind only. If I do good deeds, I feel the effect of the good deeds in this body and the mind. And if you do good deeds, you feel the effect of good deeds in your body and the mind. My field, your field. So that is one reason why this body-mind complex is called Kshetra or field. And there is a knowing element in us. Besides the body and the mind, something, consciousness, awareness is there in us. Even beyond the mind, that awareness is there. This is my body, this is my mind. Something else is there. The body and the mind does not exhaust our personality. Our personality is much more than just the body and the mind. Though we are only aware of the body and the mind. We are only aware of the body and the mind. But it's not all. It's not all there is. There is a knowing principle. That knowing principle is called Kshetrajna. Body mind is called Kshetra. That consciousness part within us is called Kshetrajna. When you see the suffix jna, word ending in jna, that means one who knows. Like Shastrajna, one who knows Shastras. And then if somebody is a Mr. Know-it-all in conversation,
Sarvajna.
call him Sarvajna. He's a Sarvajna, see, he knows everything like that. Like that. Kshetrajna means one who, the knowing principle within us, the consciousness within us. Kshetra. Vibhaga means division, distinction. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga Yoga. The topic of this chapter is what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna, and what is the difference between them. What are they? This is what we want to understand in 13th chapter. So we'll do some shlokas, but we will not only 3 or 4 shlokas we will do, important ones, what I think. So this is chapter number 13. Idam shariram, this body, idam shariram kaunteya, kshetram iti abhidiyate, is called kshetra. In the commentary, the explanation comes. In Stotra, in the Shloka, it does not say why it's called Kshetra, but this is the reason why it is called Kshetra. All the actions are the seeds that we sow, actions done by thought, word and deed. And all the karma phala, results of actions, are also experienced in the same body and the mind. So it resembles field, farmer's field in that respect, so it's called Kshetra. Idam shariram kaunteya. Sharira means body, mind, both. Generally, in this type of literature, when you see the word sharira or deha, unless otherwise specified, it is called both body and mind are included. Unless one of them is intended, then it's specified so. Sukshma sharira, stula sharira, if we say, then we notice that. Otherwise, if we simply say sharira or deha, that means both, whole thing. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidiyate. It is known as kshetra. Etadyo veti. What he who knows this, ya etadveti, that person, that being, intelligence, which knows that this is body mind, the knowing principle behind the body and the mind also, the awareness principle within us, tadvidaha, those who know the truth, kshetrajnamiti prahu. They call it kshetrajna. Kshetra, body, mind. Kshetrajna, the knowing principle within us. That is consciousness within us. That is the general topic of this chapter. Now, brief description is given, definition is given in the second shloka. Then more detailed description of both kshetra, kshetrajna come in the subsequent shlokas. So brief definition of what is kshetra, what is kshetrajna. Second shloka. You find something interesting in this first line of this shloka. It says, kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu. It's singular. Mam means me. One person. Bhagavan is speaking. Bhagavan Vacha. Bhagavan is saying, know me, that means referring to himself. Bhagavan. Referring to himself, he says, know me to be the indwelling spirit in all the kshetras, in all the bodies. That is something that is really very, actually mind-boggling, if you can say that one. One kshetrajna, how many kshetras? There is no limit to the number of kshetras. Really infinite number of kshetras, because every body is a kshetra. Just not only human beings. Later on he is going to say, kshetra can be moving, unmoving, everything, not limited to human beings. Human beings, of course, animal beings, plant beings, inanimate objects, moving things, unmoving things, earth, sun, moon, stars, whatever is there, from atom to the galaxy. Everything is a kshetra, is a thing that exists. Anything that exists has come into existence, sanjayate, has existed, and may yet to come into existence, and may exist. Present now. Everything is a kshetra. Sarva kshetreshu, there is no exception. Except the following kshetras, there is no fine print, is not there in Vedanta. legal document, contract, there is fine print. You have to read them more carefully. But no fine print here. Sarva kshetreshu, in all the bodies, Mam ekam kshetrajnam vidhi. Know me to be the one indwelling spirit. That is one of the most, actually the most profound idea in Vedanta. Actually, whole system of Vedanta and our whole lives, our values, our beliefs, our customs, and our festivals, the moral values that we practice and teach, everything we do, including how I sit, how I talk, how I walk, every action that I do is governed by that one idea that Bhagavan as Kshetrajna is present in me, in everyone else. All Kshetras, in each one of us, the same Bhagavan is sitting. Mam ekam Kshetrajnam vidhi. Know me vidhi means no, understand. He's saying that. The Lord is, Bhagavan is saying that I am the indwelling spirit, Kshetrajna, in all the Kshetras. There is no exception. Later on he is going to clarify in the same way equally. He is not more present more in some, less in others. Kshetrajna is not more present in men, less in women, more in swamis, less in householders, more in educated people, less in uneducated people, no, more in rich people, less in poor people, no distinction. To the same extent, in the same way, he is present in all. That is the basis for our whole life, if you understand that one. Every small thing that we do is governed or should be governed by the truth. So that is then he describes Kshetrajna in more detail, Kshetra in more detail in the fourth verse onwards. Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam, the knowledge of the distinction between Kshetra Kshetrajna, Yad Jnanam Tad Jnanam Matam Mama. That is true knowledge. Paravidya, Aparavidya, like that. Paravidya, that is highest knowledge. If I know Kshetra, Kshetrajna difference, Kshetrajna is present within me as he is present in all other beings. Even when I walk on this floor, I should be gentle. If I use some furniture or some piece of equipment, I should be gentle with that. When I close the door, I should be gentle. Kshetrajna is there. Mamekam Kshetrasya Kshetrajnam vidhi. That's what governs, should govern all our small actions, big actions, our relationships with inanimate objects too. The implication of this one statement is so vast, touches every aspect of our life. Simply just going through this line, Kshetrajnam Chapi Maham Disarva Kshetrasya Bharata, and going to the next line, we can do that. But if you stop, if you pause and think, what does it mean? Every aspect of our life is touched by the truth. We take it seriously. So we can think like that in more detail, but it has to be, it's worth reflecting upon. This line should be reflected upon many, many times, over and over again. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. This knowledge is true knowledge. Other branches of knowledge are there. Aparavidya is important. Both have to be known. Upanishad says both vidya have to be known. Not only Aparavidya. Aparavidya has also a place in our lives. Vidya viditavya parachaya aparacha, like this way. But this is important knowledge. Very important knowledge. So that is the second shloka. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Anything you want to add? Comment? Rishabhi Bhuda Gitam, Etat Jnanam. This knowledge of Kshetra Kshetrajna has been sung by the Rishis in many different ways. In the Puranas, in the Upanishads, in the other scriptures, in the Gita, in every scripture, the same truth comes, but using different terminology. Kshetra Kshetrajna is used only here, but even in Gita and other places, he uses different words. But it is, the truth is the same, extolled in different ways by Rishis. Rishibir Bahuda Gitam, Vividaihi Prathak Chandobihi, various meters, various Vedic hymns. Brahma Sutra, Hetmadhi Brahma Sutra Padaihi. Brahma Sutras are Vedanta aphorisms script Badarayana. These logically establish the truth contained in the Upanishads. In a logical way, refuting all the opposing schools of thought, opposing philosophies. 555 some sutras are there. In the Brahma Sutras also, this is subject matter. Brahma Sutra Padayishchaiva Vetumadvinishtitaihi, established in the Brahma Sutras, logically established in the Brahma Sutras. This knowledge of Kshetra Kshetrajna. Now 5 and 6, these two slokas, they list the various components of Kshetra. Now Kshetrajna is one, Mam Kshetrajnam Vidhi, singular used, Mam, I am the Kshetrajna in all the Kshetras. There is no part or division in the Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna has no parts or divisions. Kshetra is not like that. Kshetra means the body mind. Body mind has so many parts. You can divide it into many different parts depending upon which way you can divide. So here it gives one division of. In the Upanishad it says 5 koshas are there, 3 bodies are there. Now he gives 24 categories he has given. Many different ways you can divide the body and the mind depending upon what categories, what criteria you use to make the division. So here he has given one list of various components together making up the body and mind. So let us see what these are. Here, 5 and 6 we can study together. Components of Kshetra. Kshetra is different. Then he leaves the topic Kshetra. Rest of the chapters are mostly Kshetrajna. Yes, components of the body-mind complex and their modifications. Qualities or modifications. 24 different things are listed in the third sloka. This body-mind is made up of 24 different things according to one way of dividing. And these 24 things, they all have some qualities and some modifications. Those are 7. So those 24 plus 7 are described in the 2 slokas. We can go through this quickly because our main attention is Kshetrajna. Kshetra, you don't go to Bhagavad Gita if you want to know about the body and the mind. You go to medical science, psychology, much more detailed information you can get. If you want to study the nature of body and the mind, especially body, you don't, Bhagavad Gita is not the text. It is simply mentioned that this is one part of our personality, body, mind. But the major emphasis is on the Kshetrajna, the consciousness in the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll simply go through the list quickly. Mahabhutani, Pancha Mahabhutani, that you know, Akasha, Vayu, Tejas, Ragni, Apaha, Prithvi. 5 things. 5. You can keep track of the number. 5. Counter. 5. Mahabhutani. Ahankara, the I awareness in the body. Ahankara is a, you can say, it's a functional component of the mind. Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, like these 4 things they say. These are not all separate instruments. They are, mind is a general instrument. Buddhi is one aspect of it. The logical, the CPU is the Buddhi in the mind. Logical component determines Nishayatmika Buddhi. Determines whether this is this or that is that. And chitta is the memory component where all the samskaras are stored, etc. etc. Ahankara means there is something in my mind that says I am this person, this body is mine. That me component, my idea is brought in there. In relation to this body only. Referring to you, don't say I. Referring to you, I say you. You are a different person. This I am a different person. This is my body. This is what I am. In the body, mind, consciousness in the body. Reflected consciousness. You can say ahankara, I consciousness, I feeling is there in relation to the body and the mind. This is mine. In relation to this body, this is mine. This belongs to me. And this is I am such and such a person. I am a professor. I am an engineer. I am a this Indian like this. That I consciousness is that. Sixth one, Mahabhutani 5, Ahankara, Buddhi, the thinking logical component, decision making component. Supposing I see this object, so I go, oh, this is a book. I don't call this a book. Buddhi comes, Buddhi decides, no, this is not a book, this is a cup, this is a book. And this book also I can make further, this printed in the Kannada letters. And this says Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is a Gita presentation. All these decisions are made by a part of the mind which you call Buddhi. In English it is some what roughly called intellect. Mahabhutani, Ahankara, Buddhi. How many? 7. Avyakta. This avyakta is a little bit confusing. Avyakta means unmanifest. Vyakta means manifest. Vyakti means a person. Vyakta means manifest, described, having a name and form. Avyakta means unmanifest. That's how it is translated. To understand this somewhat roughly, supposing you have you go to a potter's place. Potter is there, who makes pots and pans from clay. So on one side of his house, he has a huge heap of clay to be used to make objects. Or it has no particular shape or say, it's simply called clay. Clay. It has no other name. It's called clay, heap of clay. That's all. No particular shape is there. Now, he takes a little bit of that and using his instrument, potter's wheel or something, he makes it into a cup, drinking cup. Now, this what is the difference between this cup and the clay? Actually, no difference, same. This is made of clay, this also clay, this also clay. What makes it different from that heap of clay? Form and name. It's called a cup, name is there. Form, particular shape is given. So in superimposition of addition of name and form to the avyakta becomes the object. So everything, whole universe, Prakriti, without the name and form, in unmanifest form is called avyakta. Another example to give avyakta is a tree is there in the backyard, big tree. Now this whole tree is standing there, it's a unique object, different from other trees. It has a name and form. It bears certain kinds of fruits and certain kinds of leaves, etc. Now before it became a tree, where was it?
The seed.
It was in a small seed. In that seed, if you open the seed, you don't see the tree there. You don't see anything. Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetiketu tells Uddalaka, you bring one Audambara seed or some fig seed, open it, take one seed. How many? What do you see? Lot of small seeds, sir. He says. Son says to father, Shvetiketu says. Break one seed, take one seed, separate it from the rest of the fruit, break it. What do you see? Nothing, sir. See, in that nothing where you see, oh, don't anything, this whole tree was hidden, is hidden. In the avyakta form, the tree is there in the seed. It is there, but it cannot be seen. No form, no quality, no name, no form, like that. So that is the universe, one aspect of his unmanifest aspect is called avyakta. Mahabhutani, ankaraha, buddhi, avyakta. How many? 8. Buddhi avyaktameva cha, indriyani dasha ekam cha. 10 indriyas we know. Many times it has come. Pancha Gyanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas. Dashendriyas, that we know. So 8 plus 10, 18. Now Ekam, Dasha Ekam, 10 plus 1 Indriyas. What's the 11th Indriya?
Mind.
The mind itself is the Indriya. It is also counted as Indriya among other Indriyas. But it is a little bit different from other. Each Indriya has only one function. Mind controls all the 10 Indriyas. It's called supervising Indriya. So how many? 11.
12 plus 8, 19.
19. Now, Pancachendriya Gocharaha, 5 sense objects. All the objects we see with our eyes, name and form. All the objects we hear with our ears, sound, source of sound. Everything that we touch, everything that we taste, everything that we smell. If it has 5 Vishayas, if you add 5 Vishayas, 19 plus 5 becomes 24. This according to one school. The body, mind is made up of 24 principles. Now these 24 principles have some qualities and these have modifications. So that is sloka number 5. Mahabhuta nihankaro buddhi rajyaktame vacha indriyani deshaikam cha panchachendriya gocha. Why these are listed? Because all kshetra. The whole bundle consisting of these 24 things and their modifications, the whole thing is called kshetra. There the kshetra ends. We don't go back to the kshetra topic again. Rest of the subject deals with kshetrajna only. That's the more important part. Kshetra, if you know some, it is enough. How it functions, how to take care of it, that we have to know, that we know. No, second, fifth, sixth sloka, modifications and qualities of 7 of these are given here. So, Arnid. Along with their modifications, Savikaram, Udahritam is explained. The 7 qualities and modifications of Kshetra. Ichha, desire is generally translated as desire. Desire sets in the mind. A function or a quality of the mind is to have desires. Now, some desires are good, some desires are bad. And now, how to distinguish good desires from bad desires? In the Gita, Sri Krishna says, in the beginning, it is okay to have good desires. For example, the desire to become a better person, the desire to acquire knowledge, the desire to do something good for me or for other people. Those are good desires. We can keep them, fulfill them, up to a point. There's no clear dividing line. Other are patently bad desires. The desire to hurt somebody or steal somebody's property, like this. These also come. All kinds of desires come to our mind. We don't have to. We don't have to tell that. Say that one. Those are to be prevented, controlled and prevented. How to know the difference? So we have to apply the touchstone, the test of dharma. Supposing desire comes to the mind, any desire comes, at random desires come. There is no rhyme or logical progression. Some desire simply comes to the mind. I'm simply sitting. Now before fulfilling it, I should ask this question of myself. Is it consistent with dharma? If I fulfill the desire, what will happen? How much benefit will I get? What benefit, if at all, will get? Or is it a temporary satisfaction of something and in the long run it produces a lot of result? Or is it something good that can be done, helps other people, helps me? All these things we have to ask questions. The dharma, put it to the test of dharma. Dharma is the test. If it is consistent with dharma, helping everybody, myself, for the good of all, for myself and others, then it can be fulfilled. If not, no thank you. I am not going to pursue this desire. I will do something else. So where do all these things happen? in the mind. The mind is the seat of all desires. Icha, dvesha, dvesha, dislike, intense dislike, dvesha. There is also in the quality of the mind only. Actually, a true devotee of God should not have any dvesha towards any being, including evil people. We should not do dvesha. Dvesha means hatred. One of the qualities of a true bhakta is absence of dvesha. Where does it come? Just recently. Adveshtasura bhutanam 13 sloka.
Maitraha karanaya.
From 13 to 19, those 8 slokas, Sri Krishna gives a large number, 25 some more qualities, lakshanas have a true bhakta. First of them is Adveshtasura bhutana. If I call myself a devotee of God, if I have dvesha, then I have no devotion at all. I may chant Sahasranama and go to temple every day and do all those things, put one golden kirita on the murti. But if I have dvesh, harbor dvesha in my heart towards somebody or something, then no devotion. So adveshtasura bhutana. Icha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham. Sukha, dukkha both are in the mind only. Actually, Sri Krishna talked about how sukha, dukkha arise in the mind. You remember? When do you feel sukha? When do you feel dukkha? Second chapter. 14 sloka. Matras prashasta kaunteya Shita ushna sukha dukkhada Agama apayana nitya samstitikshasya bharata. When the sense organ, one or more of the sense organs touch one or more of the objects, contacts one or more of the objects, sparsha, that touch, that contact between sense organ, one or more sense organ, one or more sense object, that contact is construed by the mind either as sukha or as dukkha. No, there is no really absolute distinction, because so what we call happiness and happiness, sukha dukkha, is a highly variable function of the mind, and any contact with any sense object, if the sense object need not be real, it can be imaginary. There need not be a real object for me to find happiness in it. I can imagine an object or a situation and feel very happy. Nothing is there. I'm sitting in the room here and imagining I'm in the company of somebody whom I like very much. And that imagination of my being in the company, in contact with some imaginary sense object, non-existent sense object, makes me very happy. Eventually we have to rise above this. The sukha dukkha that we experience in the world, not dependable. Upon what do we depend for sukha? Nothing, because it's not intrinsic. What gives you sukha today gives you dukkha tomorrow, vice versa. So we should not spend all our time and effort in seeking sukha and preventing dukkha. They are not permanent, they are not intrinsic. They come and go. It's the mind that plays this trick upon us. It makes me happy. Oh, this can't be very happy. I want to have it more. This unhappy. I want to avoid it. Where does this drama happen? All in the mind. Kshetra, properties of kshetra. Best thing to do is to rise above this thing. I don't want sukha, I don't want dukkha. Therefore, pursuing sukha, which is our main preoccupation in this life, we do so many things to find sukha. Different kinds of things people do. So many different ways people seek sukha. But what is sukha really? Do sense objects bring us sukha? Does money bring sukha? Do children bring sukha? Does good, happy family, yeah, they all bring, they enjoy sukha. There's no doubt about it. But then what happens? If everything goes right, without anything going wrong, which is also unusual somewhat, time comes there. In course of time, so either sense objects are all intact, my ability to enjoy them goes away. Everything is there. Food is there, money is there, jewelry is there, car is there, but I cannot drive, I cannot eat, I cannot wear. Or I am there and everything goes away. In Harati Nimeshat Kala Sarvam. Like tsunami comes or something comes on, some explosion, some terrorist, something happens, I am there, everything disappeared. In a moment, in the twinkling of an Nimeshat, Sarvam Kala Harati. So it's not permanent. If they are there, be thankful, enjoy, be grateful, enjoy. Nobody says don't enjoy, nobody says be miserable. Vedanta does not say be miserable, enjoy. But know in your heart of hearts that this is going to change. Same thing about dukkha. Comes and goes, comes and goes. All this is play of the mind. The mind can be trying to rise above sukha dukkha. That's the idea. We have to train, we have no choice. As long as we are stuck in this cycle of sukha dukkha, it is an endless cycle. When will it end? Life after life. Because same drama continues. Slight variations in the plot, but same general theme continues. So, Vedantic solution is you seek sukha, nothing wrong in being happy, trying to be happy. We want to be happy. There's nothing wrong. In through dharmic means, we can be happy. Seek sukha. Wonderful. But there's a time limit. There's always a possibility of change. So I digressed quite a bit anyhow. Ichha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham. Ichha, desha, sukham, dukkham. Sanghata, chetana, driti. Three more. Sanghata means conglomeration, an agglomerate of so many 10 sense organs and hands and feet and qualities and sukha, dukkha. This whole aggregate is somehow held together to make up my personality. Nothing is really intrinsic or permanent, but the combination of these things gives me the semblance of a separate entity, personality, which I call myself. I have a name, a position and a place, which is my ashrama, this is my house, this is my money, this is my body, this is sanghata is all, everything falls apart. The quality of a sanghata is, it is not one intrinsic thing, homogeneous thing, it's a combination of many things. The important thing to note about any sanghata is, eventually the parts fall apart. You take any sanghata, you take a automobile vehicle, for example. It's a sanghata, right? It's not one thing. It's made up of thousands of different parts. Some parts are manufactured in America, some are made in Japan, some are made in China, some are made in someplace else, Thailand. And the factory brings all of this together and the assembly line, all assembled together and made to work, it runs. The sanghata, call it a sanghata. It's not one thing. It's made up of many, many different parts. Like this is sanghata also. The problem with sanghata is, as long as it works. But sooner or later, because it is made up of part, one part or there fails. And then the whole system fails. Even if one part fails, it's a big disadvantage. We are a sanghata of so many sense organs. Supposing one sense organ fails to work, this or this or this, I can't hear properly what people say. Like this. Sanghata means temporary sanghata. Temporary nature is emphasized. As long as it stays together, works, functions together, fine, enjoy. But no, sooner or later, sanghata falls up, components fall apart. Going to happen. Chetana is reflection of consciousness in the body, which is what makes me a living person. Otherwise, it is a mass of things, material objects. Is the reflection of consciousness. The Kshetrajna present in me gives me a semblance of an independent entity, gives me ability to speak and walk and talk and eat and feel good and feel bad. Chetana, the consciousness in the individual. Sanghata, Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham, Sanghata, Chetana, Dhritihi. the tendency to stay put together as a Sanghata. The body has a healing power. Supposing there is a small cut here on the face or on the finger, it heals by itself. It doesn't need. The tendency to come back, inertia, to come back to its original state of Sanghata, it is there. Dhriti holds with firmness, it holds together. Tendency is there. Sooner or later that Dhriti will go away, fall apart. But until then it has a tendency. What are the things we have to know about the Kshetra? All happiness and unhappiness resides in the mind. We can train the mind to rise above that and not be affected. We can train the mind to be not deeply affected by either sukha or dukkha. That we have to do. Because it's a function of the mind. Not in a sense object. By gathering more sense objects, we won't become necessarily happier. By giving up, we don't necessarily become unhappy. If the possession of sense objects is the measure of sukha, then very rich people will be very happy, very people will be very unhappy. How many possessions Ramana Maharshi had, Sri Ramakrishna had? Were they unhappy? They were so absorbed in the deepest kind of joy, Atmananda, that their physical frame could not contain the joy. This is Kshetra. We are so much attached to Kshetra, we want to nourish it and cherish it and feed it and clothe it and buy so many things and thinking happiness, pursuit of happiness. We are crazy, frenzy of pursuing happiness. So many different ways. Crazy things people do to find happiness. Crazy things. You find happiness. No idea what happiness is. It's all Vishaya Sukha. So, Sangat, Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham, Sangatas Chetana Dhritihi, Etat Kshetram. These 24 things and 7 properties and qualities, changes, Samasena Savikaram Udahrita, has been explained briefly, mentioned. There the discussion of Kshetra stops. But Kshetra alone is such an interesting topic. Even if you don't go to Kshetrajna, this much information alone gives a lot of food for thought and reflection. In this sloka itself. Think about Kshetra. 26, 27 which chanted, they are crucial for the understanding of Kshetrajna. Swami Vivekananda quoted 27, 28 in one lecture. Twice he quoted the Gita shlokas, more than twice I remember. In one lecture he quoted 27, 28. Samam Bhut Sarveshu Bhut Eshu. Next two slokas, Samam Pashimi Sarvatra, Samam Satyamishu. That sloka. Those two slokas he quoted in one Gita lecture, 27, 28. And then he said, this is the essence of the Gita. In another lecture, emphasizing a different aspect, probably it was in India, he quoted sloka number 2 and 3, sloka numbers 2 and 3 in second chapter. Kutastva kashmalavidam vishame samupasthitam anariyushtam asvargyam akirtikaram arjuna laivyam asmagama partha maitatvayi papadyate shudramudyadarbulyam tiktva tishtaparantava. Then he said, totally different audience. If you know the essence of these two slokas, you got the essence like that. But here, I think it was in this country, I don't remember where he gave this talk. 27, 28 he quoted. Now, I take 27 from that lecture and add 26 to it. Those two are to me very important. So let us take 27. Sattva means object. Bhuta. Bhuta means not Pishachi, all those things. Anything that exists, anything that has come, Bhava, anything that has come into existence is Bhuta. Yavat Sattvam Sanjayate. Sanjayate means arises, takes birth. Whatever occurs in this creation, Sthavara Jangamam. Sthavara means stay put, things that don't move. Jangamam means things that move. Some objects, actually everything moves. There is nothing that is really sthavara. If you take the whole earth, it is moving. So therefore, everything on earth is also moving. The whole solar system itself is moving, so there is nothing really sthavara in the absolute sense. But relatively speaking, relative to this frame of reference, this furniture is stable, this house is stable, tree is stable, unmoving. People are moving, animals are moving. Jangama. Yavat sattvam sthavara jangamam sanjayate. How does it take birth? How does it arise? Everything that we see in this universe, starting from the atom to the galaxy and all things in between and beyond, is a samyoga or combination. Samyoga means combination of two things. Two things are contained. Two things are the components of everything in this whole of creation. What are the two things? Kshetra, kshetrajna, samyogat, sanjayate. Tad vidhi vartasya, know that. Now you take any being in this universe, not only human beings, anything at all you can think of, anything that the mind can think of, you take, big or small, living, not living, moving or unmoving. If you examine that one, if you examine anything at all, any object, particular object, if you examine, it is seen to be made up of a combination of two things. One is kshetra and kshetrajna. Kshetra we know already, the material, physical component. Kshetrajna is the consciousness component. That means consciousness is hidden, unseen by the physical eye or by the sense, or unperceived by the sense organs, in every object in this universe. There is no object in which it is not. In some it is visible, in many it is not visible, is not absent. Now this leads us to the next point. If you take any person, really mostly confined to human beings, it applies to everything. Any person if you take, irrespective of any condition, unconditionally, that person, male or female or young or old, or any nationality, any language, any nature, good or bad, evil, wicked, that person, yavat sattvam sanjayate, kinchit sattvam sanjayate, kshetra kshetrajna samyogat sanjayate. It is made up of two components. There is a kshetra component, which I can see, relate to, which is a kshetrajna component, which remains hidden behind the kshetra, unseen by me. Now, what is the more permanent of these two? Which is the more stable of these two? Kshetra and kshetrajna. Kshetra we already know, comes and goes. Adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So, between kshetra and kshetrajna, which should we therefore focus more attention on?
Kshetrajna.
Kshetrajna. Because kshetra is temporary, comes and goes. Sukha is temporary. Brahmana nirvedamaya, it says, Upanishad says. Pariksha lokan karmachatan brahmana nirvedamayat tad vijnanartham sagurimeva vigacche, etc. Sloka. So we have to, that nirveda we have to cultivate. By reasoning, thinking, understanding. Not because somebody said so or book says so. You have to examine really, what is the nature of happiness? How can I be really happy? How can I get unbroken, unconditional happiness? Does property bring it? Do children bring it? Do relationships bring it? Does body bring it? Does body bring it? Ask all these questions. Reflection. So here, coming back to Kshetra, Kshetranya, both are there in us, each one of us. So our major attention should be focused not on Kshetra so much, though it requires attention. We have to pay attention to it. It's a precious gift. Body is a precious gift. For Dharma Sadhana, body is the major. It's only only tool. We have to cultivate it nicely, keep it in good condition, food, exercise, rest, etc. But it is only a tool. It's not the object. Tool has to be kept in good condition, used wisely, nicely, for the purpose for which it is given. So Kshetra has a place in our life. Attention to Kshetra has to be given. We should not neglect it. Then it will create more trouble. You don't want more trouble. Kshetrajna is the one we have to focus attention on. This sloka 26, Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam savarajangamam kshetra kshetraga samyogat, that again, as we mentioned before, has implication for every aspect of our life. When you see somebody, immediately you should remember Kshetrajna is in this person, though I only see in the Kshetra. But who is the Kshetrajna? Kshetrajna chapi mamvidhi sarvakshetra. Paramatma, Parameshwara himself is sitting in that person, coming in that guise. That body mind is only a costume he is wearing. Who is wearing the costume? 27 sloka says that one. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyatsu sharireshu avanishantam parameshwaram yahapashati sapashati. The costume is temporary. The Tejas costume, Ramesh costume, Ramakrishna costume, Swami costume, Shobha costume, and so many other infinite number of costumes. Tree costume, tiger costume, everything is a costume. Why? Behind all the costumes hiding one Parameshwara, Mamekam Kshetrajnam. That we have to remember. Every moment we have to remember. Every waking moment we have to remember. Kshetrajnam is there. Whomever you see, whatever you see. That is the important point. Samam sarve, samam tishtantam parameshwaram. Not more in love, some people not less in others. But we can train our mind, make it pure by various means, and make it fully reflect the presence of Kshetrajna. Parameshwara is here. Many people don't believe in this concept. Where is Parameshwara? Show me if it is there, they will say. We believe in it. Simply believing that God is present in me is not important in itself. We have to modify, polish our kshetra, our mind, so nicely that it can fully reflect the presence of God. Difference between a wicked person and a saintly person is in the degree to which mind is polished. Now, give an example. Supposing it's a bright sunny day outside. Bright sunny day. Outside in the backyard, so many things are there. Some mulch is there, very dull pieces of dried wood are there. Some leaves are there. A piece of glass somebody has thrown, mirror or glass, or some child has left his glass or something. It's there. Sunlight is there. Now, same amount of sunlight is falling on all the objects, right? Sun does not withhold some light from some objects and put more light on some. He radiates to the same extent. Same sunlight is falling to the same extent on all the objects in the backyard, but all the objects are not reflecting sunlight to the same extent. If there is a black body, perfectly black body, it absorbs all the sunlight. If there is a highly polished piece of mirror, it reflects almost all the sunlight that falls on it, like another small sun there. So not difference in the sunlight is not the difference. It's in the ability to reflect the sunlight that makes the object different from one another. So it's the ability of the mind from person to person, difference in the ability of the mind from person to person that makes people different. Some people have succeeded in polishing their mind to such a nice extent, highly polished, remove all impurities, kama, krodha, etc. We know the impurities very well. Removing them with a lot of hard work, presence of God comes through clearly. If you go to their presence, you feel peace. In their ambience, you feel peace, joy. They radiate peace and joy. They don't have to say anything or do anything. Ramana Maharshi did not give lectures and classes on Bhagavad Gita or anything. He just sat there. Anybody who went to his presence, they felt good, peace. Questions were answered without any word being spoken. What's the difference between Ramana Maharshi and somebody sitting in the joy? Mind. Cultivation of the mind. That's in our hands. I can purify my mind. Of course, it is a lot of hard work. It's not as easy as I'm saying. I'm not making it look easier than it is. It is very difficult. By purifying my mind, by constant sadhana, right thinking, pure thoughts, stotra, mantra, all these things, japa, etc., study, etc., purifying the mind in various ways, I can myself feel the presence of God in me, and others also can feel the presence of God in me. Others, leave about others, I can myself feel the presence of God in me. So that is the good news. So starting point is these two shlokas. First thing is Sarva Kshetrishu Mam Ekam Kshetrajam Vidhi. That you have to remember. This is including this kshetra, though it doesn't show anything special. Aging, old, sick kshetra, but Parameshwara is sitting there. You know, you're not absent. Whether I believe in his presence or not, it's immaterial. He's not absent from the non-believers. Somebody may totally dismiss this, all something somebody wrote. Nothing, no Bhagavad Gita, no Upanishad. What is all this? They may dismiss it. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam, that's what mantra says. May not reject it. Supposing I believe in it, I profess, I believe in Gita, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Vedantin. But if I don't do anything, that belief does not do anything. Belief don't make any difference. It helps, but not sufficient. Belief must be followed by sadhana. We have to do everything possible to polish my mind, free my mind. Kshetra means mainly the mind. Important part that can be polished. Body cannot be cultivated much to some point only body can be cultivated. Mind has to be purified by any means and every means possible so that it becomes a completely transparent mind, no obstruction at all. Presence of God shines clearly. I feel it, everybody feels it. That is the object. The importance of this chapter is 2-3 lines only we have to know, though it has a lot of more than 30 shlokas are there. 2 or 3 lines we have to know, then plunge into practice. One line is Kshetrajnam chapi mahamidi sarva kshetra. Remember that one always. In this kshetra also Paramatman is there. Second line is, only 2 lines are required. Second line, remember, is Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtandam Parameshwara. That same Parameshwara, not many Parameshwaras. Kshetras are innumerable, countless number. Kshetrajna is only one. Mahamekam Kshetrajnam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu. He is present in me. I must feel it first of all, and I must experience his presence, if possible, in this life. Let me do everything possible in my power to, first of all, myself be able to feel his presence within me. That is the goal of life. If other people feel, that is not my concern. I'm not making it to show off that God is present. Look at me. That's not my object. My object is to feel his presence myself. If other people can see that, it's okay. It's not my concern, not my goal to make other people see God in me. I want to see God in me. I want to feel his presence in my life, in this life, if possible. Let me do everything possible. That is the purpose of this study. Glorious chapter, 13th chapter is a glorious chapter. 3-4 lines if you study and practice, enough. No use to study all the Upanishads and all those things. They are there. If you want to study, you can study. But what we do is what makes the difference, not what we study, how much we study.